So we're doing a little test run right now for this new podcast. We're going to be on Opulus Radio. It's going to be audio 24/7. Um, it's all black owned, so that's why I'm on board. Trying to make sure that we get something that's going to pop and stay around for a little while. Um, well, I'm your host, Hectic from Hectic Desires. Uh, Videographer, photographer, porn extraordinaire, all of the above to do my thing. Then I have with me my sexy sis on the top, Gogo Fukme. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Oh, you gotta unmute yourself first. I got
I,
you.
I figured it out. Is Gogo Fukme Triple X, porn star, movie producer, uh, Google World, I don't know, content creator, MILF, you
Oh, you're a
know.
MILF. That's what you
I'm
you taking that title now, MILF. Then,
crazy. And I'm sliding to MILF land, I'm sliding into it. I'm embracing it. So
that's what's up. All right, next we have.
Hey, I'm Leah Starrr.
All right, tell them about yourself.
I am an entertainer. I do modeling and videos as well. I am the 2022 Night Moves Pasco Entertainer of the Year. You can find me at Leah Starrr X on Instagram and Leah Starrr with 2 R's on Facebook.
All right. So they don't know what Pasco is, but that's a county here in Florida.
how about what's
It's a little
Right. Like you said Pasco, like everyone's supposed to know that, but that's dope. That's cool. That's cool. We have another. So
lame
we wait.
entertainer.
Go ahead.
I said there's different Night Moves Entertainer of the Year for different counties, so I didn't want to just put that as just in general because then that's taken away from the other entertainers that won.
they they wouldn't have known either which way. So you're good. So we're gonna dive in. We're waiting for one more person. She's gonna arrive. Once she comes in, I have her introduce herself. But I think the first topic, a lot of y'all have things in common. All of y'all have danced at one point or another. Um, so I want to know what your take on the new dancing climate that's going on right now. Like, do you think it's better? Do you think it's worse? Is it different from when y'all started? Huh?
in a strip club or
Yeah, I ain't
just
talking about ballerina.
there's a lot of dancing niggas out here, okay? So
Yeah, I ain't shit. I thought I wasn't talking about no tutus and all that,
I'm
no
about to
black
get
swan. Nah, so yes, strippers or scrippers, as some people may say. You know, um, Go and give me your take on like how you look at the climate right now and what you think is going on.
well, does she still strip?
Does who?
Leah? Was it Leah?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still in and out of the clubs. I mean, a lot has definitely changed. I wouldn't say necessarily for the better. I know when I first started, there was a lot more money to be made. There was a lot more etiquette within the clubs, within the entertainers amongst themselves. A lot of things have just kind of went left in a sense.
How
The money,
so?
well, the money's not the same, number one. It's hard to speak on things. um, a lot of girls and anybody's allowed to do what they want to do in the sex industry. I mean, to each his own, but a lot of the girls don't want to get compensated correctly in the clubs if they're doing extras, which really does hurt everybody as a whole. Because why would John want to do a dance with, I don't know, this girl when he's getting the same dance plus a blowjob? I'm just saying.
Oh, so we just gonna be all the way candid. All right, that's what I'm talking about. No
That's
holds barred.
a strip club to me. That's how
Yeah.
like most stable. I don't know what strip because I used to be in the hood strip club, so bitches ain't never had no etiquette. They was always fighting. They was always doing extras, taking customers out of the club. You get what I'm saying? So it's I only strip when I'm booked now. So it's a little different because I already came in paid and my lap dances are different. So for me, like, you know, a lap dance is $25, right? Like at a club, and then you pay the club fee. But I usually don't pay the club fee. I'll offer it. I always offer it for letting me do a lap dance, but I charge $100 a dance. So when I'm booked, you know, then I charge $100 for my dances, and I'm in and out of clubs, so I don't have to get to know the girls or deal so much with the club drama. You get what I'm saying? But back when I did, that sounds like the same old strip club that, you know, every day, every night there was a fight. Every night there was something extra going on, and I
So
mean,
you
it's
had
part.
the so you had the bullet. There might be bullets in the walls and all that. Like, yeah.
And you'd be surprised because even in big clubs, it depends because I'm in majority black clubs that I get booked at. You know, Crazy Worth ain't booking me or no place like that, right? So, you know, even the big black urban clubs in like Houston, you know, even they got bullet holes in the wall sometimes. Like, you know, big nightclubs. So, you know, not just the hole in the walls. Actually, the hole in the walls were more tight with security because they're smaller and they're really not supposed to be there. So they keep it hush hush. You know, it's usually the big clubs that fit 600 or more people that something rowdy is going to go down. You know, I mean, how many like big name rappers don't go to little hole in the walls? They go to major clubs. And how many of them have been shot at clubs or shot
Right.
at big
Right.
clubs? You know,
Right.
so at the end of the day, like when you deal with like the unfortunately like the urban clubs stuff like that, you got to kind of keep your head on a swivel. But other than that, like, you know, that sounds like, you know, same old to me. The price of pussy has gone up 20. It's still $25 for the past 25 years. How come black dance ain't gone up?
I don't. I can't speak on that. I don't know. All right. So we have a late incomer. We have Olivia Pearl. Go ahead and introduce yourself, love.
Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yep.
Hola, what's up?
Awesome. Hi, guys. I am Olivia Pearl. I am a feature entertainer. I hold several titles. Currently, I am Miss Exotic US, Miss Nude World, Performer of the Year for last year. There's a new one coming up in November, as well as Burlesque First Runner-Up, and a handful of others. I currently tour the country, performing in all sorts of clubs and events. As well, I have my hand in several other companies and brands that we can maybe get into later, but pretty much kind of do a little bit of a lot of things within the industry. I've been in the industry for about 16, 17 years at this point, in various roles, and big supporter. So here I am.
You been screaming all weekend? It sounds like it.
Screaming?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Now I know you had a little outing or whatever this weekend, so I don't know if you were like cheering on for other girls that was dancing this weekend, but yeah. All right, so tell us what your take is on the new wave of strippers, dancers, and all of the above.
The new wave. I don't know that it's necessarily a new wave. I think it's really kind of just a lull in the industry. Adult entertainment is a luxury sport. It's something that you do for the most part for fun and with your extra money, and things right now everywhere in the world, from Tampa to Detroit to New York to California to shit, probably Germany and Japan while we're at it. Everything's really just tight right now, and I don't see a lot of new blood as well. You know, a lot of the girls that are coming in are just young, and a lot of us that have been in the industry a little longer that used to kind of mentor a little bit or, you know, get friends and be kind of clicky. We all kind of moved away from that after COVID, especially, you know, if we weren't already kind of featuring and moving around. You know, COVID really shut a lot of things down for us socially anyway. So I think it's just a big change in the industry. And hopefully it'll come back up soon. I know with the things I'm got my hand into, I'd like to incorporate a lot of new blood all the way around when it comes to events, clubs, games we play, where we market ourselves, how we market ourselves, the expos and the uh, media, every little corner I can stick my hand into is kind of where I'm going with my career. But I think that in general, the industry really kind of still needs that. Otherwise, it's probably going to kind of really fall off and take a left turn.
So
So
you brought up mentorship. Why has that changed? Why do you feel that's changed? And all y'all can speak on that one.
I would really say, I mean, first of all, COVID, like I said, a lot of us that had been in the club and knew the ins and outs and ways around, and we're gone now. We had to pick up and prioritize other avenues of life for us. And a lot of these girls now coming in are mostly post COVID, and they don't have much reference to go on other than what they've seen in TV and in movies and on Instagram.
Yeah. Anyone else want to speak on that?
I think. Go ahead, Leah. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying I definitely agree with Olivia on what she was saying because she definitely touched on a lot of major points.
Yeah, I think that the young girls come in, and one thing that I noticed, like before COVID, we had a similar wave of new girls when the recession hit, right? When the recession hit, I want to say 2000 and oh my God, I'm gonna show my age. 2009 ish, right? We had a really bad recession, and a lot of girls that weren't supposed to be in the strip club, right? Before it was empowering, right? Because now, well, OnlyFans and stuff like that, everything is like so empowering being a sex worker, or they make it seem like that it's always empowering for everybody, right? For women. But we had a lot of girls that never thought that they would be dancers and probably shouldn't have been dancers at the time, come into the strip club to make money. And I remember one girl, and I worked at this huge club in Philadelphia, and it was BYOB, and it was very much set up for like stage presence. And I remember this one girl, right before they announced her, she's like at the steps and she's like shaking and she's like crying, and I'm like, this is a girl that probably never thought she would be in the club, right? And I think that there's a survival aspect to it, right? A lot of new girls don't know, like Leah was saying, about pricing themselves correctly. They don't know about pricing themselves correctly, how much a tip should be, or what their goal really is, because they're just kind of like in survival mode. And then there's some girls that come in because they think that's what you do, you're an Instagram girl, or you're just this pretty girl, and they think they have it all figured out also, because they're young. Just like OnlyFans girls that think that they're going to put their ass up on the internet and it's just going to work out for them. And it doesn't work out for them, the way that they think. And maybe they don't think that they need mentorship. I've seen mentorship go a good way, and I've seen it go a bad way, because the kind of the OGs, like I'm OG. I remember there were certain cliques that I knew to stay away from, and it looked like they were making a lot of money, but they had pimps, or they were sharing it, or they were just like into a lot of things that I just wasn't really into. I knew to kind of stay away from them. And then these young girls see the money on stage and they think like, this is who I need to be in with. And I've seen it go like completely left for those girls. And then I've seen girls kind of like blossom and grow and become, I had I guess my traveling clique or whatever. And most of us have pretty much blossomed and grown into, like really hardworking, like focused women, So I honestly don't know what this new I mean, I'll give it to some of the youngsters. They are ambitious and they are killing it, and they find all these little ways to make money and do it well. you know, but a lot of them just don't know what they're doing, and I don't know what the hell is in their head, you know?
I often say with the age of social media now, there's so much ways to make money. You know, the ones that I knew like in Miami, Atlanta, them girls, they have a routine. Like they're up before the sun's up. They're in the gym. They're setting up photo shoots, video shoots. It's not just they're multifaceted. It's not just one source of income that they're focused on. Um, and with us being in the area where there's just a lot of fucking strip clubs, a lot of girls are just focused on just the clubs, and there's just so much other ways to make money. Um, but some girls are just, I think, in a lot of aspects, the club is haven for a lot of girls. Like they feel safe in the clubs and in that ambiance and stuff of that nature. Would y'all agree, disagree?
That the strip club's a safe haven.
For a lot of girls, yeah.
It was for me, you know. I
Mm-hmm.
think it could be the downfall of a lot of women too.
Leah,
Yeah,
I
go
agree with
ahead.
that. Yeah, I mean, I definitely have felt like the club has been a safe haven at times, but like Gogo was saying, it definitely can be a downfall as well.
Olivia.
yeah, I think you really have to do your research. You have to feel comfortable in the club, and especially as a travel dancer myself, that's important. I know I used to always just really do like a lot of internet research to see what kind of club looked like it fit me and where it was at, what kind of town, especially if I was traveling. But when I first started like just house dancing, I really kind of stuck to a home club until I decided to branch out. So I know for me, I like to stick to a home club if I have a home club. And traveling, I've always tried to make it as safe as possible. So I know as a feature now, it's different. You don't really always know what kind of club you're going to be at or where you're going to be at, especially if you do a lot of your own bookings or different things. So there's a lot to it, and especially when you're climbing up in your career, that I don't necessarily think a lot of girls think about, especially if they're just house dancing. So I think it kind of actually creates a little bit of a naivety because when they do start moving around, they don't really know what they're looking for. And then it's easy to get caught up in different things.
You know what? Like, is it just me, or have you looked back when you were a baby dancer and was like, I could have died? Like the no, like for real, like the chances that we took, the places that we've been, the clubs we've
Yeah.
walked into. Like I think about when I was like 18, 19. I mean, all the way up to like mid-20s, and I'm like, but you
Yeah.
gotta die. Like, why would you go in that club? Why would you, like you're by yourself? Because in the beginning you kind of travel by yourself. You hear about this club and that club, and and the people that you like, when you're naive, the naivety that you were talking about, right? I keep thinking, like, how many times I could have been snatched up,
Mm-hmm.
died,
Yep.
like,
Yep.
and not everybody, like, we don't always start off responsible, right? That's why I give these new girls,
Yeah.
like, because I knew, like, how fucking stupid I was. I know the first time I ever danced, I showed up in a bathing suit and like the only pair of like heels that I owned at the time, and they were not dancer heels
They were
whatsoever.
church heels.
They were like church heels. They were almost like church heels, and I wore them for a long fucking time. And I remember, like, the girls that I talked to and the guys that I talked to and the information I gave them and the drinking and the, like, and I'm just like, but you could have been snatched the fuck up, like,
Mm-hmm.
different cities, and you just hear, like, I would hear, like, oh, go to Baltimore, because on Mondays they're popping, and I would really
Yeah.
get my car and drive 2 states away to a
Yeah.
city I've never been to, step into a club that I know nothing about, no one, and just Like, and then a girl would be like, "There's an after hour going on where we could make more money," and I would go and follow this strange bitch to a fucking hole in the wall. Like, what the fuck? Like, so I give these new girls grace because, like, I could have been, I don't know, like, just I guess we're just lucky, like, we smartened up, but god damn, there was a big stretch of time where I was just out here, like, in these streets. Like, that doesn't even compare to what I was doing in these streets. Like, I was the street.
And you brought up another thing, Olivia. You brought up home clubs. I don't think that's like, I don't think as a mass that's a thing anymore. It used to be very prevalent here. Like, you couldn't go to no other club because the owners or the managers would call. They know where you from, right? They would call your other manager and be like, "Yo, so and so's here," and then she couldn't come back to the other club because that was the thing, right? Or if a girl got fired from a particular club, managers and GMs just knew everybody, and they just pick up the phone and be like, "Yo, if you see such and such, she can't work," right?
Yeah. So well, when I first got here, I was kind of, lucky to have all the connections that I had. So I found out kind of like that that used to be the culture here. And I get it just because there's so many clubs and, I assume there was, much more competition when it came to the girls and, different things kind of back in the day when there was a lot more money running around. But as far as I know, I do think that has changed here. And it kind of seems like girls pick what club they want to go to, like on what night. But I don't know that that's necessarily like a countrywide trend yet. Again, I think it's here because you have a really unique environment here, being the capital of the country and whatnot. So, I mean, just in my experience, I think that's still kind of unique to here.
And I do think other cities don't have as much strip clubs as we have here. So I think it's a little easier to dictate the pace.
It's usually smaller towns do that. Smaller towns. So, like, in Philly, we only had a handful of black clubs, right? So I do know.
I know we still got to go to the one that I might get shot at.
Oh my god, I got still around, like, but fucking, but that club that I was talking about where you might get shot, that's the owner I'm talking about. His name is Q. Shout out to Q. But anyway, he used to do that. Like, if you worked at a club like his, you couldn't work at another club like his. So he's an after hour. So you worked his after hour. He didn't care if you worked at Onyx or Vanity or whatever, but you were at his after hour, you couldn't go to another after hour. But we only had like 3 after hours. So smaller like areas do that. I know in Florence, South Carolina, Titus, there's only like 2 strip clubs in like Florence. So either you worked at his or you didn't. Like, he did not play that shit. You get what I'm saying? But in a bigger setting like New York or something like that, I never heard, like, they didn't really do that. And even in Maryland, so in Baltimore, there's one strip and there's like 20 clubs. I might be exaggerating, but there's a shit ton of clubs on like in a matter of like 2-3 blocks. It's strip. That's why they call it strip, right? So you could literally bounce. Like, they never asked you like what club, like, you could bounce literally to the club next door if you wanted to. You get what I'm saying? Like, even twice in a night. Like, if you went to one club and it wasn't popping, or you heard that it was going to get popping at like the neighbor club after 12, like, as long as you're willing to pay that door fee, like, you could leave that club and go next door. Like, they didn't penalize you for that. Now, I'm Gogo, it could be a little bit different, but I mean, the girls would be like, yo, let's go to this one tonight instead of that one. And they never got penalized, and they were, but I think that the home club idea is still an idea. I think it's a dancer's preference, whether she likes to travel and bounce around or if she likes to build a rapport in one club. I ideally, since I get booked at a bunch of different clubs, I wouldn't mind having one home club in my area. And then when I'm booked, traveling or whatever,
I often call that chasing the green rabbit because, like what you said, you hear one club popping this night, so everyone would leave this club to go to that club, but then that
Yeah.
club's dead, and then they would hear another club's popping, then they leave that club to go to that club, and so they're just like doing the circuit trying to catch this money, but the money's moved to another club or it's shifted, so they're always just chasing this green rabbit. But yeah,
Yeah, but there's always a particular club in an area that I prefer, whether it's popping, like whether it's that night popping or not. The only thing that I would do is I wouldn't work if there's a certain club that's having a huge event. I'm not, I'm used to being the event a lot of times, so I just work in that
humbly
area.
speaking, huh?
Humbly speaking. No, like as a featured dancer, you are the event. You get what I'm saying? So the only thing that I would do, like if I heard that a club I don't work at in Baltimore was popping, then I probably just wouldn't work in Baltimore that night. Like if they're having like a rapper or a big event or something like that, because I know the clubs that I prefer to go to are probably not going to be it. You get what I'm saying? Like, and I do say that in the most humble
I know, I'm just
way,
fucking with you.
because heck, let me tell you something. I went to Baltimore to work at, I keep bringing up Baltimore. Baltimore is where I learned how to hustle. That's why. But Baltimore, I went to Club Lust. No, it was when Kings of Diamonds was open. I was working at Kings of Diamonds one night, and I thought I'm gonna walk in there and be the shit. Cherokee was hosting an event literally next door, like
Killed your shit.
next door, and my shit was dead as a bitch. So I say that in the most humble way, where I'm like, okay, if there's an event going on, right? Because I'm thinking like, well, I'm stripping, she's hosting, so where they gonna want to go? You get what I'm saying? They're gonna want to go see a porn star host or a porn star strip. Her shit was so packed and my shit was so dead that I just learned, like, if there's an event going on at a club that I'm not gonna be at, like, I'm just not gonna go to that area. So I've been humbled before.
All right. So one by one, what advice would you give a new girl starting off, whether it's featured, stripping, whatever? What advice would y'all give them one by one? Olivia, you could go first.
Um, Shoot, on the spot. Okay. Pretty much, really just kind of know what your goals are. I think a lot of girls really just get into this and treat it as fast money and something fun. Especially with Instagram being a thing nowadays, makes it look even better than it really is and used to be. So I would say just treat this like any other job or career and have goals, have a plan, know what it takes, do your research, and don't just, go into it like you're going to the movies.
All right, Leah, go ahead.
I would definitely say get in, make your money, stack it, save it, because just as fast as you get it, it goes. It's not always promised. So when you're making all that money, it's real easy to get caught up in spending money foolishly and just wasting it. And then tomorrow something happens and now you're screwed. So definitely be smart about how you make your money and don't get involved with too much that goes on in the club. Just go in, make your money, go home.
Go.
I would say definitely, like Olivia said, set a goal, right? What are you doing this for? Fit in perspective, your goal. Don't spend what you don't have to, right? Save your money. It's fast, but it's not consistent. So definitely save your money and keep your head on a fucking swivel. If it doesn't sound right, look right, feel right, it probably isn't right. Just like Leah said, you're in there to make money. And a huge thing that saved me was I just mind my fucking business. You get what I'm saying? Like none of what goes on here should be personal. It shouldn't have anything to do with you. And it's better off for you because you'll get a reputation of just being a straightforward, fun person, and not a problem, not a troublemaker. And I think that also, if it sounds too good to be true, it is too good to be true. If a guy says, leave with me for 10 grand or just some crazy money you've never heard of, you won't be able to leave with that money. If it sounds too good to be true, it really is. Set a goal, save your money so you're not in a survival mode that has really sloppy decisions. Um, and just be you. Don't try to be anybody else, just stay focused.
All right, all those sound good. We're gonna take a little music break for a little second. So if y'all need to go ahead and refresh those cups, do what you need to do. We're gonna play a couple songs and get back at you. Well, fuck. Um, I don't know. I don't pick the music. It picks me. I don't. Oh shit! There's a lot of garbage shit out here. Oh, grace. Oh, Lord. All right. So the next topic I want to hit y'all with, since y'all are some lovely women of color, what do you think happened to the masculinity of men, especially black men?
Oh Lord.
I had the same reaction.
Yo, your eyes got big as shit.
They been putting all them chemicals in the water for a real long time.
Like, do y'all feel like there's a increase of emasculated men nowadays?
Oh,
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. Do you care to elaborate?
100%. Yeah, I mean, I mean, if you really wanted to get like, I'm a conspiracy theory nut, so I mean, I think there's like a lot more to it than just like, hey, there's a lot of like emasculated men in the world today. So, I mean, in a nutshell, like, yeah, they're putting a bunch of chemicals like in the water all over the place, and it's like really messing with people, especially the men. I mean, I think there's a long-term plan to it. I don't think it necessarily has anything to do with like trying to take down the strip clubs or anything, but I think they're definitely trying to take down the strong male influence in the world.
Anyone else? Oh, y'all quiet as fuck.
Might just be me though.
No one else has anything to say on it?
they some bitch ass niggas out here, motherfucker. What? Like, I don't know. There's some bitch ass. They making them real fucking fragile and weak these days. I think that, I don't want to play the blame game, but I think, we got tired of the bitch assedness, so we figured out ways to make our fucking money and to be independent. And now a woman doesn't want to. I mean, there's non-binary, there's everything like that. But just speaking from the female side of me, because I'm non-binary, like when I'm in my feminine mode, I want to be in my feminine mode. But then there's so many men out here that don't allow that. They want the respect of it, they want the privilege of it, right? But they don't want the responsibility of you being in your feminine mode. You get what I'm saying? So it just creates like this headbutt, it's like you have to do all the man things, but they still want the respect of being a man. And then it just makes them very fucking fragile. So, they think that taking these things away, belittling our value because we've had to do man things and step up and do both sides, that it'll somehow humble us or change us, but not realizing that's why we became so strong to begin with. So I really think that one thing that Tech says to me is like happiness is perspective. You get what I'm saying? Men and female, like our emotions are a perspective. So I think that everybody needs to do some work on themselves. And I don't even really like, speaking for men or on men, because I know that I have some work that I need to do on myself. But a lot of that work has to do with accepting bitch assedness from niggas. Like, no, like me becoming a more patient person, finding ways to like break that wall down. You get what I'm saying? Because I know that a lot about me, I'm not gonna change. I worked very hard to become who I am, sex worker and all. You get what I'm saying? So really, you can only become the person that you want to be, that you love to be. And I don't think that men really love how they are right now. I think that so many men out here, they're just so aggressive and they're so hateful towards us because they don't really like who they are or the position that they're in. But that has nothing to do with us. So, I feel myself becoming more man sometimes, and but I know why that is. It's hard. You have to be everything now. And that's,
Leah,
it's partly on men. It's partly on men that we have to be that, because Tyke knows me, and I don't want to have a masculine bone in my body. I love to be submissive. I love to be, you tell me what to do in every kind of way, but men don't have a plan. Even if they do have a plan for themselves, they don't have a plan for you or for their families or for, partnership. They don't have that kind of plan anymore. Men used to. I say go back to the old ways. You get what I'm saying? I wouldn't be out here. I would
we're
have put
bringing up traditional, non-traditional.
I want to put this ass away. I'll be traditional. I have a 50s housewife king. I'll put this pussy away real quick. Motherfucker gonna pay all the, I'll cook and clean and make babies real fucking quick.
All
You get what
right,
I,
Leah.
because
Leah,
I
what
know
you think on it?
I,
where
I
these
agree,
fucking boxers.
and they want to lead us, but they don't know where they're going in life, and
Right.
then when we step up and we do what we have to do, that makes them feel some type of way at times. You know what I mean? So you can't have it both ways. You can't want us to do everything, but then want us to treat you like back in the old days when you were doing everything. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it.
Leah, and you know what's fucked up though, Leah? You know what's worse than the dudes that have a problem with you doing everything, like their job and your job? The motherfuckers that's okay with you doing their job too. Damn, motherfuckers is feminine as fuck. They're
Mhm.
feminine as fuck.
So
They're
let
okay.
me ask you this, because I knew how I grew up, right? And I just remember back in the day, even to like get a girl, your talk game, you had to move. You had to move a certain way as a man, right? If you didn't, the women didn't pay you no attention. Do you think part of the emasculinity of the man now is because a lot of women don't demand a lot of stuff anymore like they used to? Like they don't demand going out on dates. They don't demand flowers. They don't demand chocolates
Dude, are
and
you crazy? I'm complaining that
pickup
we
and all
demand
that.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're saying that we demand more.
yeah. Me personally, I was raised in a Spanish household, and as Spanish uh kid woman, you're raised to like serve your man plates of food and make sure they're good and the whole nine. Make sure you cater to your man, and that I have no problem doing that. But I'll be damned if I go to work 10 hours, come home, have to clean, have to cook, gotta go cut the grass, take care of the farm animals, and then I'm
Wait,
away.
Cut the grass. Wait, what?
I just left my 10-year marriage because of that shit. Like, he couldn't get his act together. I'm not cutting the grass, 5 acres, taking care of the farm animals, working 2 jobs, and shaking my ass, and I have to come home and feed you. No, I'm gonna throw the pot at your head.
Okay.
Don't
I
even
am
eat it good.
stuck on that one. Cutting the grass, like shit.
No,
Damn, you got me stumped on that one.
No, because my ex, he used to, so, granted, we had 5 acres, but I had a riding lawnmower. So he would take one day to
You
cut
just
the front.
jump on that bitch and you
Right. He would take one day to do the front, one day to do the
you
side,
muted.
one back, and then by the time the back's done, the front's growing. So now I got to come home and just hop on the lawnmower and just do it for 2 hours and cut everything. Hell no.
Why he just do that shit at one time?
Could you pull him on the podcast? Maybe you could ask him.
I need to know. I need
need to know.
answers.
I still want to know.
Because honestly, if it wasn't too hot outside or whatever, even if it was too cold, I'd do it. But if it wasn't too hot, like I'd never cut the grass when it was too hot. Like I'm not going out there at fucking noon to cut the grass. I used to find it therapeutic. I don't know why. I get out there with my little, and I had a push, so I just get out there and push my little shit and do my little lines, make sure I love doing that shit, but that's just I don't know. I think when I was growing up, I had a godmother, not really my godmother, but she always used to have me kind of shit. And I remember she asked me to do something, and I did it or whatever. She came back, she's like, "Baby, what you want to eat?" And I was like, "Oh no." She's like, "Whatever you want to eat, I'll cook it right now." She's like, "Because if you work and you working for me, anything you want, you got." So that just was ingrained in my mind. Like, so that's just how I grew up. So I know if I take care of this, I'm gonna get a reward over here, kind of shit. So I'm good. But I don't know. I guess everyone ain't raised the same way. That's wild. Cutting the grass, you have me stuck on that. I can understand the trash here and there, but the grass,
You act
like,
when I trash out. You be like, why you
yeah, the trash overflowing and shit, like shit laying next to it.
child?
Wow.
Child, the trash is the vein of my existence. I swear to God.
So
Like,
is it really that bad out here though?
yes.
Because I don't look at myself as a emasculated man, so I don't know. And I feel like I don't hang out with emasculated men. So I the only thing I have to go by is from ladies telling me like, yo, this dude's sorry, or this dude this, or this dude that. So is it really that bad out here? Shit.
Why you think we eating cookie now? What the fuck you talking about? Yo, I'll tell you, that's one thing that we have up on y'all though. All this not changing and men not getting with the program. Women will turn around and eat some coochie real quick. We ain't got no.
I don't even mind that. Even if I had a lady and she wanted to go, hey, go do that.
Well, I'm talking about turning gay for real. We done with y'all ass.
No, y'all come back. Y'all come back because y'all realize the grass ain't greener on the other side. Y'all got a whole other issues over there.
Men will not go around and suck no dick.
No, hell no. What? No.
But we turn around. We will turn around and find our best motherfucking friend that's sick of niggas too, and we will go ahead and eat some coochie and be a family.
And then y'all get aggravated at that shit too and be like, damn, this is what men had to deal with?
Nope. I ain't. You know the only reason why I went back.
Yeah.
I wasn't going back. I wasn't going back.
I'll never.
I get it.
It's never that bad for me that I'd be like, you know what?
How bad is it? Is it really that bad?
Not for me.
No, but I'm saying when you ask women that, it's never been that bad for men where they're like, we're going to go suck these dicks with my best. But think about how bad it is for women who love penis to be like, try coochie. Try it. I'll try to be with her real quick. That's how bad it is for us that we just sick of y'all. We going to try
there was a comedian that said he met a dude that he knew always used to get all these ladies, and his body count was raising. And the next thing you know, he saw him with a dude, and he was like, "Let me know what your number is, so I don't reach that number. So if it's like, if you hit 1,000, I know to stop at 99. Like I never want to cross that line to go."
Wait, what? What are you saying?
Never mind. Let's keep going.
No, go back. You said what?
he was saying that dudes that get a lot of women, some of them get bored and then they cross to the other side because there's nothing else left to fulfill. So he's saying, let him know what number that is so he can stop right before it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. All right.
I think that can happen too. I think a man could wear his dick out to the point where he has to listen. Heck, we were in a space where it was just recently, like last week, we were in a space and the dude said that he was so addicted to porn and had so much sex that he has resorted now to snuff films.
I can see that.
That's what? Like I would hope
but that's different from I'm so tired of women, I'm gonna go suck some dick.
I would hope that they would try bisexuality before they go all the way to death.
Snuff. He ain't doing it. He's just watching it.
So, like, I would be terrified to be alone with this.
For sure, agreed.
Because
I'm with her.
Is usually.
Go ahead, Olivia.
I said, yeah, agreed. I'm with her.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, it's usually the woman that is the victim in that video. So you're so sexually frustrated and done that you're resorting now to like hurting us. You know, I would hope that you would try bisexuality first before you go that or pegging, you know, before you go that way. Like that, I don't know.
I'm not gonna kink shame nobody. So if you like pegging, cool.
Nah, that's one kink that I'm shaming is snuff.
Oh, I mean, I'm not promoting snuff films. I'm just saying, like, to each their own. But I'm not going to. He's reaching that pinnacle, so he don't have to go suck some.
He's reaching that pinnacle where he becomes Jeffrey Dahmer. Okay.
Goodness.
Oh Jesus Christ!
That
is wild.
Eating
All
dark
right, so I had someone ask me this question: why do women not like the word moist?
Because the internet said so the other day.
This is legit what people ask me.
No, it's not. Nobody's ever had a problem with the word moist.
Yeah.
In the history of the world.
I'll screenshot it and send it to you.
I saw it. It's just the internet said so. It's not real.
Yeah.
The word pussy.
I hate vagina.
Really?
It sounds disgusting.
Pussy sounds disgusting.
Pussy sounds delicious.
You know what I heard for the first time?
Vagina sounds like I have to force it. Like it's just no.
It's cock for me. Cock is a funny fucking word.
I don't like cock.
Yeah.
I don't like.
I think it's just funny. It's so not sexual. It's just such an out of place word.
What if someone be like cooter?
Cooter's all right. A little immature, but we can work with it.
I say cooter. I say
be like that cooter cat. Be like, ew, what? I'm not doing anything with a cooter cat.
But remember I'm Puerto Rican, and that's like when Jocelyn Hernandez said it.
She used to kill me with that shit.
With the cooter cat. I guess that's. Oh my God, I didn't know other people said it. But you know what though? My Jamaican grandmother, she said a word that fucked me up. I haven't heard it so long. I think it's so gross. She said twat.
Oh, twat is like forceful.
Filthy.
Yeah.
I don't like
twat
that.
Is right next to the C word. I'm not gonna say it. Twat is right under it.
I don't like it.
Like, why would someone want to come and fuck a twat? Like, I threw up a little bit in my mouth. I'm sorry.
But that's how I feel about. I can't say the word right. Do you say pussy? Do you say pussy?
You put a little French accent on that. Pussy.
Pussy. Pussy. I say pussy, right? I always have to think about it before I say it. But vagina, I don't think too much about vagina.
Yeah, it just comes right out.
Or penis.
Listen, so I had a white lady the other night. She I thought I don't know why I'm supposed to start out like that. So I had a white lady the other night. She said it correctly. So when she was calling me, I thought she was saying dick. And I was like, why are you calling me a dick? And she's like, I'm not calling you dick. Your name's Hectic, right? I'm like, yeah, but all I heard was dick. And so the rest of the night, she's just like, yeah, he has a dick. Luckily, she didn't say cock or any of that other shit, because then I would have had to say, no, it's a dick. Like, black men, I feel, have dicks. Everyone else has cocks and whatever else.
Penis.
Yeah. Penis sounds little.
That's why you use it as a technical term. You get what I'm saying? Like, you know.
But I'm not using vagina because it's small.
You start off with because they do grow, but not like penises. So when you're younger, you start off with a winky, and then you get a penis, and then when you're grown, you get a dick if you're black.
So because I'm Caribbean, we used to call it a Charlie. Yeah, so that's what I grew up. Yeah, that's why I called my man's for the longest time a Charlie.
A Charlie. Yeah. I don't like that. I don't like when you give them a person name.
I'm not calling nobody Charlie.
What was if you meet a Charlie?
In the Caribbean, you know, that's like winning the lottery.
No, it's not. Not with people named Leonard and Oliver.
We don't have them either.
In Jamaica,
it's such a white guy name.
Charlie?
Yeah, it's such a white guy name. Like, it's almost like penis. Like that's the giving him a name version of penis. Like, it's
as a kid, we were out here packing.
All right, as a kid.
I don't like people out here with real names. I don't fuck with that.
You don't want to call it like Roger or some shit?
No.
Roger sounds strong.
Yeah, Jerome. My penis name is Jerome. So you know he ain't shit.
Not Tyrone.
Cool.
Don't call him Tyrone.
So, do y'all name y'all vaginas?
No.
Yes. I mean, maybe it's just me. All right.
I'm waiting.
Oh, Pearl. That's where Olivia Pearl comes from.
What'd you call her?
Pearl.
Now
damn. That's where Olivia Pearl comes from.
Okay.
You know what? I thought that, but I didn't want to assume. But that's cool. So none of y'all ever named your. I almost said vagina. Your pussies.
The pussy.
No.
That box, that snapper.
I don't know. Is box disrespectful?
That kitty
I'm not
box.
a fan.
What do you say?
I'm not a fan. It's not all like square and rigid like that, you know.
That's
fact. Fact. We need to find a good name for the vagine. For the vagine. Be like them Arab dudes. Show me vagine.
Well,
the vaginal.
Huh?
I used to call it a mariposa. Butterfly.
Because it opens up?
Yeah, mariposa.
That's dope. I can fucks with that. See,
yeah,
I
but
already knew because it opens up.
Then I met someone named Mariposa. And then that was weird.
So then you had to change it all up.
It was like my friend's daughter or something. I was like, fuck. Yeah.
All right. So next question. I'm not going to ask that one because that's too deep.
Hold on. You ask the question. I'll be right back. I got to see if I'll go or not. Hold on.
Yeah. I'll say this: modern versus traditional. relationships? What's your take on it? Oh, this harder than
Okay,
this harder
hey,
than Virgin.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I mean, I think it's up to the people and the persons in the group. I like that there are so many different types of relationships nowadays. That what comes with modern, I guess, is not putting yourself in such of a box that maybe was so traditional and whatnot. But I do think that there is a special place for traditional. I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. I think it definitely builds strong communities and family units. And I would definitely be willing to hopefully think once kind of all the smoke cools down of people getting used to all these different types of relationships and really kind of like what that means and what it can look like, that things may still end out as productive as a quote unquote traditional relationship. I think there's a lot of stigma and a lot of unknowns around a lot of that nowadays. Nobody really understands what it means to be poly or to be gay or non-binary, or everybody just hears these terms and they're scared of them because they're new and they're different, and ignorance is bliss. So I would like to think when the smoke cools down that some of these things will prove to be not so detrimental. Uh,
You mean
but
the
time will
non-traditional?
tell.
You mean the non-traditional stuff?
Yeah, the not, the new modern stuff. I mean, right, everybody is kind of in such an uproar because things are new and different, and so untraditional and so not what they're used to. That, everybody has all these, well, it's traumatic for the kids and it's this and it's that and it's the other thing. And even being in the sexual industry as long as I have, I'm still actually like in real life a very, I don't necessarily want to say traditional person, but a very normal person. Like I don't think that kids should be sexualized at a young age or be exposed to all the things that is going on nowadays. The music, when we were kids, explicit music used to be something you had to go sneak off and listen to. Like nowadays, kids are hearing it in the car with mom and dad all day long. So I don't agree with that. I don't think that those are good things that are productive for these future generations. So I can't say that this or that. You can't say it's because they're raised with two dads or because they're raised by a single mom, or they can be just as traumatized as an adult later on from any other thing.
100%. So Gogo, the next question. I'll let Leah go next, but the question is traditional versus non-traditional relationships.
Like, what would I choose?
What's your take on it either way? But I'll let Leah go first.
Okay.
I mean, I agree with Olivia and stuff like that. I feel like everything's always evolving, so I don't think we can ever go back in the day traditional, because things are always changing. But I do agree with what she was touching on about, it is different in a sense of everybody just has phones now. The music we used to have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning or sneak off to listen to back in the day is now just playing nonstop. There's a lot of things that have changed that are not for the better, but things are changing. So it's me personally, I like the mixture of traditional and modern because, like I said, you can never just go back in the day tradition. Just things are just too different. So
So what
you
does
know,
that look like to you? Like the hybrid.
So for me, I do like to, cater to my man and make sure things are done and his clothes, make sure there's food on the table and just like those type of traditional things. But at the same time, it is a 50-50 thing. So if I'm not getting it, you're not going to get it. Like I was saying before, I have no problem being submissive and stuff, but I'm not going to be submissive to somebody that I'm having to lead myself. It's not a very safe feeling to submit to somebody who's not doing what they have to do or you don't trust in that sense. So
Gogo.
I think as far as I think that you could be a non-traditional couple with some traditional values. You get what I'm saying? Like Leah was saying, um, whatever gets shit done. You know, what works for me may not work for somebody else. I think that on paper, I've been a non-traditional family. I was married to a woman for over 6 years. You know, we have many children, you know, like I think that so technically, you know, I'm not a traditional, you know, I wasn't a traditional family, and now I'm with someone who's also in the industry, you know, like um you know, I don't think that on paper or us as people that we're just like this traditional thing, but I do enforce, I guess, traditional values, whatever gets shit done. You get what I'm saying? And this whole myth of, you know, single mothers and, you know, absent fathers or, you know, two moms, two dads, you know, and how somehow they're less
Qualified.
adequate. Yeah, they're less adequate than I guess a traditional family. That's all false. Like I did like a deep dive into single mothers, right? And how they say that children are more likely to go to like prison, you know, when there's a single mother. But actually, it's not, you know, that's completely false. It's a complete lie. They actually found that children are more likely to go to prison, not due to single motherhood, but due to absentee fathers. And get this, it goes higher when the father is minimally in the child's life and then remarries and has other children.
And cares for the kids more than he cared for the original.
So there's more correlation to the father's decision to be absent than living in a two-parent household, because the parents can be separated and co-parent, meaning that I'm a single mother, he's a single father, but as long as both influences are, you know, like somewhere around, and they even found not even an influence of their father, an uncle, a brother, you get what I'm saying, grandparent, they're less likely to. You get what I'm saying? So it's more so the neglect of one parent or the other than just having one parent or the other, because you know the research has been done where you have two parents and then one dies. That doesn't automatically, because I'm a single mother, thrust my child into the statistic. It doesn't, you know.
I used
So
to
it's
tell I used to tell people that from what I've noticed, a lot of the modern non-traditional relationships now, you got the polys, you got the this, you got the that, versus the traditional. Most of the non-traditional are lasting now longer than the traditional, because with the traditional, they're still lying, they're still cheating, there's still all these other elements, versus with the non-traditional, um, there's a little bit more honesty, there's a little bit more trust, there's a little bit more transparency in what you got going on versus the traditional. You know what I mean? So I have noticed that maybe that's why it's growing, or maybe the new glitz and glamour on this new lifestyle, the allure is drawing more people to the non-traditional, traditional or modern relationships versus the traditional. I
you
don't
know,
know.
I've thought about that also, because I've always thought that like I've been a lot of woman for one person, for one man, right? And it's crazy because they found that in certain tribes that, well, in all tribes that do this, that when a woman is in a poly relationship with multiple men and she has a child, and the men do not care who the child belongs to, all of them act as a father, the children are more protected and successful and thrive
So you
better
bring
than
up,
that has one father.
so could y'all be in a poly multi-man relationship?
Absolutely. My husband would
Yes.
tell me, but
Yeah, I mean, I could. I agree with it. I think again, it goes back to like really what your situation is. I think, again, the situation with modern times has definitely changed than what it was 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. So you kind of have to change with that. And I mean, I agree. I like to have multiple boyfriends or multiple relationships because there's it's almost like build a man, like we said, it's hard as shit out here. And, like what I might get from you, I don't get from him. And what I might get from him, I don't get from you. But I still respect what it is that I get from you, and there's a place for it. And, I'm the kind of person, my relationship with somebody isn't dependent on their relationship with somebody else. Like if so and so aren't getting along, like that's not my problem. I still like you and I still like you. And if you guys don't want to be around each other, like that's cool, but that doesn't have anything to do with me. So, I can put that into relationships. And I mean, obviously, I think it's different for us being in this industry. We have a different perspective in the first place. Um, so I definitely think it's harder for people who are not as open-minded or not as influenced or involved with, the different ways things could be. Um, but for me, yeah, absolutely. And I don't eat coochie. I'm not bisexual. I like dick. But I would be in a relationship either way. Like if it was two women or two men, I'd probably prefer two men. But I mean, just because her and I ain't messing around, like, don't mean that he doesn't love her, or that she's not a help to me in the kitchen and with the kids and so on and so forth. Or somebody to go out on Friday night with and have a good time. And I know people who have whole family units. I actually have a close friend that he has two wives and two separate family unions, and they have days of the week where he spends with one wife, and days of the week he spends with the other wife, and days of the week where they're all together. They have like a system that works for them, and everybody is happy.
Olivia, you know what I found from experience? If you get with multiple guys, 4 is the magic number. That sounds like a
Yeah,
lot. It sounds like a
no, yeah,
lot.
3 or 4 is like
3, you can't do 3 because 2 of them will click up and bully the third one.
okay.
You gotta have 4. Can't so 2, they're gonna compete with each other. 3, 2 of them is gonna be bros, and one of them's gonna be the outsider, and they're gonna fight. Right? One's always gonna take that dude's side. They're gonna bully the third. It's 4. 4 is the magic number. It sounds like a lot. 4 is the magic number.
Okay. I've had 3 is my top. I've had 3, but those 3 didn't necessarily like cohort with each other. But then I had 2 that did, but they were kind of like best friends anyway, so it was all good in the hood.
Because I think that it gives them a brotherhood too. I think
Yeah.
that when they're frustrated or whatever's going on, like they work it out. Like bros. They go play ball together. I really would like that. Like they can level each other out. They have this whole thing. You get what I'm saying? But I think when you have 3, 2 of them work it out. One of them be ready to beat their ass or get jumped. It's
Leah?
Keep that in mind.
I mean, I agree. I mean, I feel like you can be with multiple people because you don't always get something with everybody. I haven't personally been with like 3 or 4 people at the same time. I've been with 2 people, but that's about it.
How did that work out?
It worked out fine for me.
Did they know about each other?
Yeah. Yeah. One was a female, one was a male.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I personally feel I could handle multiple women because, and it's going to sound really selfish, and it's not because of sex. It's because I don't want to have sex all the time, or I won't want to have sex. So y'all go ahead and eat on each other and leave me alone. That's just that's how I feel.
Like into women. What happens if it's just?
What do you mean? No, they gotta be into the women because that's the only way it's gonna work. If they're not into other women, then I'm still gonna get bothered.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
That's the point of a relationship, to care.
I can care without fucking.
But you're gonna get bothered anyway. You're the only man. Like all the man work is your job. You're gonna get bothered anyway.
I find ways
I
out of
know that ain't gonna stop me from bothering your ass. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be
it's not
like,
gonna stop me.
shit,
In fact, we're
I
gonna
gotta
team up and
go.
bother you together. Be like, I bet if we both go, sis.
That's the
That would be
difference.
dope here and there, but I'm just saying on a constant basis, I'll be like, yo, I got shit to do.
And we're gonna be strategical about it. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
like, yeah, listen, I'm about
Monday,
to
Wednesday, Friday.
listen, Olivia, I'm trying to get a new car. So what you need to do is you need to go ahead and upgrade your shit. So I could be like, well, she upgraded her shit, so why can't I upgrade? We're gonna be strategical. We're gonna bother the shit out of y'all too.
Yeah. It's gonna be it's teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work, buddy.
Teamwork.
That's how we got here in the first place.
But I also do like having multiple sources of income coming into one household, so that'd be dope too.
No, I'm planning on quit all that.
So what I would need personally is one to be like an accountant, and then one to be like maybe a lawyer or some shit. Cause then that shit is solidified. Everything I need for my empire is built.
That
Better get to working on it. It can happen. It can be a real thing. It's 2023, buddy.
as soon as this man hits 6 figures or makes more than me, I'm no more.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I'm going all the way back to the 50s with this shit.
I'm not saying work for other people, but you'll work for my LLC. Like we'll work for our brand.
I'll cook and clean. I don't know what a bill is.
Jesus.
She's the lawyer, not the accountant.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just like, what?
Babe, we got legal problems. I'll be like, sound like something you need to figure the fuck out because I got.
Yo, what if you have a retainer?
I'm going back to the 50s.
You just gonna be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen.
Yeah, she in the kitchen. She in the kitchen. You looking for her? She in the kitchen.
You never watch them shows where the wife is just baking random shit for no goddamn reason? Just you in there just baking up some shit.
Because all the bills is paid. Because all the bills paid. She got shit else to do. She baking some shit. She gonna bake some pies and some muffins. Make you some pancakes. That's what us good ones do. You keep all the bills paid. We ain't got shit else to do. House clean, food in the kitchen. What you want?
That does sound like a
sit down and get your dick sucked when he done.
Listen.
That sounds like a plan. All right, so we're gonna take a little break, and then we're gonna come back, and then we're gonna have a hard-hitting question. I feel like this one's gonna go really in, maybe not, but it sounds great.
I'm not here for it. I gotta go.
I know you should have.
I gotta go too.
Be barefoot and pregnant now. Without the pregnant, I gotta be barefoot in the kitchen now.
So just make sure when I come out there next month in a couple weeks, actually.
What?
I don't know. I never taste your cooking. That's crazy.
That's true, because we always have somebody cooking for us. It usually be Selena. She always be with y'all, but that's what I'm talking about. Work being done. She's like, so what y'all want to eat?
Yeah, that's true. All right, so I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Okay. I got in about 15 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, so I gotta get off here at 5:30.
So y'all could go ahead and let me go ahead and ask this last question. Whoever needs to go could go. Y'all can ask this last question. I could ride the music out.
All right. Well, I'm with y'all.
All right. So tell them where they can find you at, Gogo.
Nice to meet you, love.
You can find me on Twitter, Gogo Fukme 3X, and GogoWorldPorn.com.
All right. So the last one is, what makes a dude creepy? Like, I hear women say a dude's creepy, but what makes the dude creepy?
His approach.
Like what?
I mean, there's a lot of creepy people. I mean, are we talking about like on the internet? Because either or, pick your poison. Online, when a guy doesn't take the hint and you let them know straight up like you're not interested, and then they start Facebook calling you at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it's just creepy.
That is extremely weird.
It's very weird.
Like I understand the purpose of Facebook calling, but it's so much of an annoyance more than it's a benefit.
Or my favorite is when like a guy will message me and be like, "Hey, can you rate a picture for me?" And I already know it's a dick pic coming. I'm like, no. I said, if you want to get views, put it on Pornhub. That's what I tell them.
They ain't gonna rate it on Pornhub either.
I mean, if you want people to view it, put it on there. I don't know.
Yeah. What about you, Olivia? What makes a dude creepy?
I mean, really, like, kind of like right off the bat, first impression type thing. Usually, right, is they don't have what we consider game. They say something really creepy. They all in your body space. They try to touch you, or So I mean, right off the bat, like in public, kind of stranger situations. But online, same thing. They'd be in the inbox saying weird shit. Otherwise, I've actually had a lot of people that I've worked with that come across as what would be kind of creepy or weird, and sometimes you have to kind of get to know them, you know. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't, but usually it's the energy that they're giving off one way or the other. You can kind of read that as a female. We're looking for men who are smooth, have game, look like they didn't talk to a woman before, don't say nothing super stupid. I mean, I've had people in the I mean, I've had dudes in the club. Like I had one dude one time, want to know what my real name was, and just right off the bat, hey, how you doing? I'm Olivia. Oh, well, what's your real name? Like you're crossing boundaries that you don't have any business crossing. Like, it's not out of place for me to not give you my real name. It's out of place for you to ask for. So,
Right.
When you're crossing boundaries, whether it's mental or physical, you're getting too touchy feely for where you're supposed to be at. Those things all come across as just uncomfortable or creepy or you got to read it. Sometimes it's going to lead to something else. Sometimes people just don't know how to act.
And that's why I asked this question, right? Because creepiness or someone being creepy is subjective, right? Because what you might deem creepy, someone else might not, or it might be a culture difference, right? Like, I know certain cultures, they like hugging. That could be creepy to someone who doesn't like to be touched. You know what I mean? But that's just their normal, how they interact with people. People said even me, like the questions that I post, they'd be like, "Oh, that's creepy." I'd be like, "Why? Why is it creepy?" And I tell them this. I was like, "It might be creepy to you, however, you don't know that people literally jumped in my DMs and said, "Hey, because they're scared to put this out there, can you ask this question, or thank you for asking this question, because I always used to think there was a problem with me, but now I see that there's not."
Well, and that's why I said it that way too, is because, kind of usually what the bottom line is did that action make you uncomfortable? Because if it makes you uncomfortable, most likely you're going to take it as creepy.
Yeah.
So what's uncomfortable to you is right, obviously subjective.
And trust me, everyone's uncomfortable about something or someone or an idea or something nowadays. 2023 is the year of vaginas. I'll say that. Like, everyone's like, so yeah. Everyone's
Be
so
power, bitch.
right. Everyone's so it's a weird time. Like, you
It's
have
in the
to be
water,
scared.
man. I'm telling you. They're messing with everybody's hormones. They're putting the chemicals in the water.
Hey, I when you said it, I was like,
It's fucking up a lot of shit, man. It's fucking up a lot of shit.
when you said it, I was like, yeah, I kind of fucks with that. I kind of I kind of
Yeah.
see that. Yeah. So yeah. So dudes don't be. I've had more. I've had a lot of creepy women too. Like, especially in my industry, like, because people see me in the capacity they see. I've had girls walk up to me and just grab my dick and not ask, not. I'm like, well, hello,
Yeah,
how
that's
are
not
you?
nice.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, that's
know what
not
I
nice.
mean? Yeah. So men have creepy experiences too, not as much as women, of
Yeah.
course, but yeah, men have it too. So with that being said, we're gonna ride the last little 30 minutes out. Go ahead, Olivia, tell them where they can find you and what projects you got going on.
Oh my goodness. Let's start with you can find me on Instagram at oliviapearl.tv. You can find me on Instagram or on Facebook at Olivia Pearl. And the projects that I have going on are so stinking many. First and foremost, I rock out with my cock out with SCK Media TV and Strip Club King TV. We are a OTT media platform, and we cater to strip club and independent content creator media. Also, I have my boutique, House of Pearl Boutique.com, and I just started kind of my own.
You muted yourself.
Sorry, my bad.
Culture, Strip Club Cult. So you can find that on Instagram at Strip Club Cult. And for all the traveling dancers,
He did it again. All right, you good?
sorry. Yep, one last thing. Travel
Yeah.
Dancers Network. So you can find it on Instagram. You can find it as a group on Facebook. And we are a network community support group for traveling dancers, managers, house moms, pretty much just trying to bridge that gap and make the travel industry more successful and safe.
All right. Go ahead, Leah. Say your shit.
You can find me on Facebook at Leah Starrr with 2 R's and on Instagram at Leah Starrr X. Right now, I just been working with my cleaning business and getting that more off the ground and going. And then just gearing up for different competitions coming up and stuff. I'm thinking about entering the Miss Nude World. So I don't know if Olivia, if you're doing that this year or not, but I'm thinking about entering that. I got to talk to Gracie tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. I will be there. So any questions or comments, concerns, any mentoring or help you need with it, definitely let me know. I got your back.
Thank you.
All right. And
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
ladies, I greatly appreciate y'all coming to this little test run. It was phenomenal. I loved the input that y'all gave. I loved how y'all started to get out of your shell and really start talking your shit. I get it. When you get interviewed, everyone's like, but with me, something that most people don't know about me, I could see multiple different sides of an argument or a debate. And I really don't take too much shit to heart. You know, as long as you speaking your truth, I think that's one of the greatest attributes we have is being able to speak our truth, especially being in the sex work industry. I think too many people try to put us in a box or we end up putting ourselves in a box. So let your truth fly, let it do what it do. It's definitely liberating and it's definitely something that I've learned to embrace as I've gotten older and more into this industry. So, ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you next time.
All right.